Hey there. We're super excited to be here with you today to talk to you about how you can make your data available to millions of users inside of Excel right this second. My name's Kayer, and I'm joined by my colleagues Allison and our awesome partner Jake from Vena Solutions.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for having us.
We have an exciting agenda for you today. We're going to introduce you to the world of addins, highlight some new capabilities, and Jake's going to share the Vena story on how they're building on our addins platform. The power of Excel, man, I love Excel. It's the world's most popular spreadsheet. Its formula language represents the world's most popular programming language. You can do anything and everything that you may want to do inside of Excel, and it's where data lives. And if your data isn't here, you're missing out. We're going to show you with addins how you can use Excel as a front end quickly and easily. What are addins? Well, addins are really web apps. And so if you're building a web app, you've done a bit of the hard work and you're on your way to building an addin. Having a manifest file allows your web app to be registered as an addin inside of Excel. And with our JavaScript APIs, you write it once, and this will run everywhere Excel runs across Excel for Windows, Excel for Mac, and Excel for Web. Once you've created your addin, it can now be deployed and made available on Microsoft App Source and can be deployed by IT admins to their organizations. Now, as a developer, you may want to extend different parts of the Excel application. So we allow you to extend Excel's primary commanding surface, the ribbon, with addin commands. You can enable, disable commands. And we're also allowing you to contextually show new ribbon tabs based off of a user action or an event from your addin. In terms of extending different UI containers, we allow you to extend both dialog boxes as well as task panes, which you can use as your primary UI surface for your experience. And it's not just about extending the UI surfaces. We also allow you to extend the heart and soul of Excel, which is its formula language. We allow you to create your own custom JavaScript functions. And these functions behave just like any normal function inside of Excel. With your users, we allow you to use our single sign-on APIs to understand who the user is, signed into Office with, and you can use their access token to make calls to the Microsoft Graph based off of their consent. And for a lot of our users, they don't use the mouse. They're really hardcore keyboard commandos that are using the keyboard all the time for their workflows. And so we enable you to extend and create your own custom keyboard shortcuts or hotkeys to streamline their workflows. And all of this is brought together through our shared runtime. Shared runtime enables a simplified developer experience where you can share state and components across each of these different capabilities. And now the shared runtime is powered by the WebView2 engine. And with that, we have a few announcements we wanted to share with you today. Super excited to say, hey, the keyboard shortcuts APIs, the contextual ribbon tab APIs, and the WebView2 engine are now available and rolling out to production. In addition to this, we have over 2,000 different APIs for you to explore and use to manipulate and shape your data. At Build, we're announcing a new batch of APIs with our Excel 1.13 requirements set. And one of my favorite APIs that I wanted to highlight today is going to simplify your life and help you get your data into the hands of users quickly and easily. So starting with a template, you'll be able to call the InsertSheets API and easily inject data from your service to create dynamic reports. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to my colleague, Allison, who will demonstrate how to do this.
Thanks, Kier. Hi, my name's Allison, and I'm a developer writer on the Office Add-ins documentation team. Today, I'm going to do a demonstration of how to work with and develop Excel add-ins. I'm going to show you two different ways to generate reports in Excel using the Excel JavaScript API. This Contoso sales report is what we're going to create. You can see that the sales report includes a number of Excel features, like sparklines here in the growth column, formatting in the table, and a chart with data from the table. Now I'm going to show you how to create a sales report like this with the Excel JavaScript API and ScriptLab. First, I'm going to open up a new workbook. Next, we need to install ScriptLab. ScriptLab is an Excel add-in developer's best friend. It lets us explore the API space for Office add-ins, as well as rapidly prototype code changes. You can use ScriptLab to experiment before or while building an add-in. So it's an add-in that helps you create add-ins. In Excel, in the upper left corner, we have the Home tab and the Insert tab. To install ScriptLab, I'm going to click the Insert tab and then click the Get Add-ins button. This opens up the Office Store dialog, where you can find all sorts of add-ins, including ScriptLab. To install ScriptLab, you can search in the search field, or you can scroll down the list. Once you click the Add button, your add-in will be ready to use. I already have ScriptLab installed, so I'm going to exit out of this dialog. Your add-in can express itself in different Excel UI areas. For example, in the ribbon like ScriptLab. I'm going to click the ScriptLab tab, and in the upper left corner of Excel, we now have a couple of buttons. The Code button allows us to edit ScriptLab samples. The Run button allows us to run ScriptLab samples. I'm going to click the Code button, which will open up the ScriptLab task pane on the right side of the screen. I like my ScriptLab task pane to be a little bit wider, so I'm going to drag it out. In the ScriptLab task pane, I'm going to click the Menu button in the upper left corner, and then I'm going to click Samples. ScriptLab has a large number of preloaded samples to allow you to try out different API calls and see how they work. These samples range from basic to very complex. To create a sales report like the one we saw at the beginning of this demo, you could use the report generation sample. I'm going to search for that sample and then click it to open. This is one of our more advanced samples that shows how to create charts with data from a table. In the ScriptLab task pane, we have a couple of tabs in the submenu. First is the Script tab, which has the JavaScript or TypeScript for your sample. Next, we have the HTML tab, which controls the HTML structure of this sample. We also have the CSS tab, which controls the styles. I'm going to go back to the Script tab and scroll down to the Write Sheet Data method on line 27. In this method, you can see that on line 30, we add a title to this worksheet. And on line 35, we create an array with a header and data. Next, on line 47, we start to write this data to a table in the worksheet. On line 61, we start to format the table and set the width of the columns. And then on line 77, we add a chart to the worksheet with data from the table, and then we format the chart. This report generation sample allows you to manually format each piece of data as you generate the report. However, our Insert External Worksheets API offers a different way to create a report with just a few lines of code. I'll show you our final product again, the Contoso sales report. In this workbook, we have another worksheet called Template. I'll open up that worksheet. Say your solutions team has already created a template for your spreadsheets, so you don't want to manually control formatting. In a few lines of code, you can bring in a template like this one and JSON data from your server at the same time. All you need to do is call our API and retrieve your JSON data. If your team uses templates, then this Insert External Worksheets API will help you get your data into the hands of end users quickly and easily. This blank Contoso sales report template is what we're going to use for the Insert External Worksheets API sample. Now I'll go back to my workbook in progress and open up in a different sample. In the ScriptLab task pane in the upper left corner, I'll click the menu button and then go to My Snippets. And I will open up the sample that is customized for this demo today. In this sample, I'll first go to the HTML tab. In the HTML, you can see that we have a form element on line 8. This is how you upload your external worksheet to the sample. Now I'll go to the Script tab. In the script, the first thing we do after retrieving the uploaded template file is insert the template into the workbook. As we do that, on line 17, we set up a couple options for how to insert the template, like choosing the template worksheet from our source workbook. Here on line 24 is where we insert the template worksheet. And on line 27 is when we add our JSON data to the newly inserted template. For simplicity, the JSON data in this sample is hard-coded, but it could be retrieved from a REST API or external server. In this sample, the JSON data is saved as sales data, and if I scroll down to the sales data variable, we can see here the JSON data hard-coded. Now I'll scroll back up to our original method. And on line 36, as we insert our JSON data, we tell the template where to input the data. And then on line 40, we write the data to the table in the template. Now that I've explained how the sample works, I'm going to demonstrate it. So in the upper left corner of Excel, I will click the Run button. ScriptLab is running now, so in the ScriptLab task pane, I will click the Choose File button. I will select my template and then click Open. And success! Here's my template with JSON data automatically inserted into that template. That's it. This is how you use the Insert External Worksheets API to import JSON data into a template with just a few lines of code. Now I'll hand this presentation over to Jake from Vena Solutions, who will show us how Vena builds on top of Excel.
Brilliant. Thanks, Allison. So I'm Jake. I'm a product manager at Vena Solutions, and we help finance folks from all sorts of businesses do planning across their business. And I'd love to show you how we do that with Excel. So first off, what is the Vena approach? So I like to tell this this little scenario to help base it and understand how we work directly with Excel. So first, you're running a lemonade stand. Excel is the perfect tool. You can track your sales. You can figure out how much sugar, how many lemons you want to buy on a given day. No problem. You're good to go. But you do so well at lemonade sales. You now run a hardware store. A lot more inventory, a lot more sales. Now you've got a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of data, but you can still make it work, no problem, with a bunch of Excel files. But you're perhaps too good at running your hardware store, and now you've got hardware stores all over the country. Now you've got too much data, too many spreadsheets just everywhere, and we see a lot of customers come to us with this problem, and our approach really helps users still stay with that tool that they love, Excel, but be able to manage it on a bit larger of scale. So our approach overall is that we start with Excel, the building blocks for finance. We have our add-ins as well to allow to enable all sorts of good behavior that you'll see soon. And then we have our cloud server, which stores our data and files as well, and allows essentially keep all that data there, and so you only have exactly what you need at any given point in time in Excel. So again, it really is the best of both worlds, we think, in that you can use Excel's super powerful calculation engine, formulas, and also be able to manage a ton of data at once. So this leads us to, we've worked with Excel add-ins for a long time, but why Microsoft 365 web add-ins? So we're really excited. We're currently making the transition to our 365 web add-in. Again, you'll see in a moment. And we're especially excited about it because you get the exact same experience on Mac, Windows, and in browser. And that's a huge deal for our customers. It's more and more common for companies to have folks on Mac, on Windows, occasionally on a tablet that you can run Excel and browser on. So really important for them to all have a really nice, powerful experience and the same experience. Next, no installations or updates required. It really is extremely simple for customers to get up and running, and it sounds like a small piece, but it's really, really important, especially when there are many users that they want to get up and running. Lastly, more flexible user experience and better support technology. It lets us build in React, exactly as Kayer said. We're building a web app inside Excel, and it lets us really build with all that power and flexibility that we love. So overall, our new add-in, Vena 365 Connect, allows two fundamental activities. In accordance with Excel, it allows data to flow from Excel to our cloud server, our cube, we often call it, is where our data is stored, and then also to create and edit reports using, again, the flexibility of Excel without all the data muss and fuss, and really make it flexible to use across different departments or cases or scenarios or what have you. So without further ado, I'd love to show you how we take advantage of Office add-ins in a demo right here. So our Open in Excel experience starts on our main web app, Vena.io. So let's start by checking out the operating expense input file. So you'll see immediately Excel will open right up, and because we've embedded our add-in, it will open automatically even the first time. So that's a really nice, smooth experience for our users. And you can see the file started empty, and this is us adding the data specific to this file and up to date. So this is how our users see Vena, and they can navigate through different contexts very easily. So other things you can do in Vena, for example, we can go and change this number to 2020 from 1020, and we can hit save. It's still sitting here in the sheet for us, but also now we've updated that number on our server. And just a really easy way to see that, like the data on our sheet, it's not permanent. We can just refresh and it'll all come right back. So that's really the secret sauce behind Vena. Also to note, we've got a whole bunch of tools that can be really helpful to investigate data. And one of them is called drill down. So if we do a quick drill, you saw we started from one intersection, as we call it, one data point. And this sheet gives a really nice summary for our users of exactly what that data point is composed of. So, and that behind the scenes actually is exactly what you saw earlier, InsertWorksheetsFromBase64. So that allows us to build a JSON of exactly what we want our user to see and slaps it right into the file, right into their context. So now they can keep the file, remove the file, whatever they'd like, but they get to see their data exactly how they want it. Instead of some pop-up, now they can copy paste out of this really easily, save this file however they want. Lots of options there. Notably as well, you can see our main buttons up top, and yeah, lots of, like, you can put anything in this file. Again, the flexibility of Excel. You see these icons up top. They're up there because people use them so much, and we're actually most excited for these ones to have hotkeys. So we haven't made that happen yet, but that is coming soon. We're really excited to make that happen through shared runtime. I hope you enjoyed our demo of Vena 365 Connect and the Open in Excel experience that we love to provide to our users. We've really enjoyed working with the Web Add-ins framework, and and we benefited so much with what's come out already, and we're really excited for what's next to come. So thank you so much, Kara, for having us, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Great. Thank you, Jake and the Vena team, for an awesome demo, and excited for how this evolves. Now let's wrap things up by telling you how you can go and get started building add-ins quickly and easily. We have a set of tools and resources for you, ranging from ScriptLab, as we demoed, all the way to the Fluent UI React Toolkit, which will help your add-ins look and feel like native experiences inside of Excel. As Jake demoed, we have code samples, such as the Open an Excel experience sample, that will show you the different patterns and practices to enable you to be successful quickly. And you can learn and engage with us through our many resources. A great place to engage with us is our monthly add-ins community call. It's my favorite time of the month because we get to interact with developers like yourselves. And to get started, if you haven't already, join our Microsoft 365 developer program. This will give you access to tools like a renewable Microsoft 365 developer subscription, so you can install ScriptLab and start exploring our APIs today. And last but not least, follow us on our Excel developer blog. The team and our partners are blogging and sharing tips and tricks on how you can make the best of the Excel add-in platform and make your data available to millions and millions of users in Excel right now, right this second. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you on a future call.